if you could just introduce yourself to our viewers, please.
Hello, my name's Ian. You may know me as H0ffman, I guess. I am a Demoscene, coder, musician, DJ, game dev. I get a cracker as well, I guess. Reverse engineer. I think that's it. That's all the stuff. Yeah. I suppose I run a demo group as well called TTE. So so yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Do you remember when you first got into computers?
That was that's quite simple. It's when my dad came home with a ZX81. My dad was a proponent of computers and technology and science in general. But he brought home the first home computer. So he's very interested in this stuff. It seemed like, I mean, I was very young at the time, but it seemed like magic that you could take over the TV and do stuff, even with the wobbly 16K RAM pack at the back. That was, I think we then upgraded to a ZX Spectrum 16K, which is pretty useless because all the games needed 48K, so that was a bit disappointing. And then my dad, seeing how much I kept using his computer, he eventually got me a Commodore 64. So get me off of his computer. So
understandable.
Yeah.
When did you discover the Amiga, and what made you want one?
So again, my dad's kind of the proponent of this as well. So he would read all the magazines. He would keep up and together with what was going on, whether it was PCs, home computers, the lot. So he was always, had his finger on the pulse. Wasn't that bothered about consoles, though, because obviously, we can't really do a lot with those apart from play games. So, unless it had a keyboard, it didn't seem to be a point. But he was very aware of the Amiga when it was released in 1985. He even showed me one in an Amiga 1000. In a computer shop way back when, that's the Amiga, son. That's what we're gonna. And then obviously he got an Amiga, it was slightly frustrating because he worked in the Royal Fleet Auxiliary, so he was he was on ships. It's not the Navy, but he was on ships for like half of the year. So when he did get an Amiga, it would be home for 6 months of the year and then disappear again.
Annoying.
Very annoying. But ultimately, I think it was the year of the Batman pack, which was interesting because obviously everyone was getting the Batman pack and you had all your packing games and everything. By the time I got the Batman pack, I already had about 40 discs of stuff that I already had. So the included software I couldn't care less about by that point. So I played Batman for a bit and then just went, well, great, I can fire up my trackers now and get on with it. So
what was the first creative things you started using it for?
Music. So there was a cover disc, an Amiga format cover disc, with a copy of Med. So it's very important to the distinction. So not Octamed. So before it was H0, was it? It just it came. You could boot up Med. It had a bunch of samples in it, and I wrote some stuff on it. But I was very much getting stuff from public domain companies. So I'd get like trackers, new versions of trackers as they were coming out, like Noise Tracker, Star Tracker, and all that. So I kind of went that route instead, until obviously ultimately ended up at Pro Tracker. But I was a Noise Track user for a long while, mostly because I saw all this stuff coming out of the demo scene, and realized that all of the songs from the demo scene were kind of written in Noise Tracker or Pro Tracker. So I thought, well, I can see how they're writing their tune, so I'll just borrow that.
Talking about the scene, how did you first discover it, and how did you get into it?
So you have to remember, like, this is a pre-internet era, right? So you made friends by bumping into people locally that had the same computer as you. So, you got the same computer as me? Well, let's hang out, right? Because you've got the same computer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And there was a bunch of us. There was Ian and Andy Jolly, Clive Minikin, and Phil. We were, so it's kind of us lot, and we were looking at demos and looking at games. And we kind of fancied our chances at maybe doing some demos and stuff. So within our little group of people, we kind of, you pick a role, right? So I was the one that liked doing music. So I was like, well, I'll do the music. Clive wanted to do the code, and Ian wanted to do the graphics, although he liked to do quite a bit of music as well. So that's kind of how we got started on it. So we kept seeing demos and stuff coming through from, we used to do mail trading as well. So swapping discs through the post. We get a lot of demos that way. So we'd like sit around and watch demos, and we thought we'd start having a go at, making some ourselves. And that's kind of how that all started, really. Yeah.
Why do you think music became your main creative outlet? Why not code or graphics?
So I've got a red-green color deficiency. So graphics was it was off the cards completely, really. I don't think I had the patience for it. It was you realize just how much work it is to do graphics. It's ridiculous. Coding, I had a little bit of a go with cracking. So I did learn a bit of coding. So Phil in our group was also better known as Galahad from Fairlight. So he's from my hometown. So he taught me a few bits and pieces, quite a lot to do with cracking and how certain protection systems work. So I learned a bit of coding in 68000, but didn't really do much of it. I've always had a love of music. So I remember I think it was Parallax for the C64 when I first heard that soundtrack. It kind of blew my mind slightly, and I was a very young child at the time, but at the time it's like, wow, this is amazing. So music's always been my thing. And kind of, when I was very much into the rave music and rave culture and stuff. So I also wanted to be a DJ. So
back then, who were your biggest inspirations in the music scene? Composers or musicians from the demo scene, or just band in general?
Obviously, you've got to cite the Prodigy, obviously, because but I get early days, acts like, Jean-Michel Jarre, obviously. So I was very much into synthesizer music, because, kind of sounded like the future to me, at least anyway. I'd say, early influences like Jean-Michel Jarre and on the C6, obviously Rob Hubbard, and more particularly Martin Galway, really. Because there's something about that hypnotic thing that he would do that Rob didn't do as much of, that I really liked. Within the demo scene, I think the biggest influence by far would have been Heatbeat. Hands down. Every time Heatbeat did something, it just sounded different compared to everyone else. It was another league. He was off doing his own thing. He was like one of my absolute favorites. I'd say the Amiga scene easily.
He is really good.
Yeah.
After being away from the scene for a few years, what or who pulled you back in?
So that's an interesting one. So I'd kind of, I wouldn't say given up, but I'd gone off to do kind of music semi-professionally. So I was kind of part of a record label. I was releasing tunes within the breakbeat scene. I was doing a lot of DJing and stuff like that. And I was at a night in Exeter, DJing there, and my friend Rory, RC55, he's one of the guys that runs Nova Demo Party in the UK. He saw me on the lineup and then did some research, because he was a demo scener for many years, and actually connected the dots together. I went, I see you're DJing here and you're doing this, but I also see that you used to be a demo scener. It's like, well, yeah, I used to. And I think it was like 3 years in a row, he invited me to the UK demo party. I think it was called Sundown back then.
Yeah. 3
years in a row, 2 years he would invite me, and I was playing at a festival, so it would clash. And the next year I was playing at a festival, so it would clash. And then the whole breakbeat thing that I was doing kind of died off. Like the scene had got a lot smaller. So the following year, he invited me. I was like, oh, I'm free. Yeah, great. I'll come along. I haven't been to a demo party since I was a teenager. This will be a lot of fun. Yeah. It was just turning up to a place where it was just odd that I turned up and a bunch of people there like, oh, you used to be called Dreamfish and H0ffman and Hoffman, didn't it? Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of your modules on my Amiga now. Like, what? Okay. And that was it. I did that, and then instantly I was like, right. So, is there anything big happening in Europe? Because I'd never been to any European demo parties back in the day, so it was really one of the things I wanted to cross off my list. And as it happens, that was the last year of Breakpoint. As far as everyone that I was speaking to was concerned, there was no Easter party the following year. So I was like, oh, all right, well, never mind. But then Revision popped up. Yeah. And then I asked to DJ at Revision, and they let me have a play. And basically, I have been to Revision in any form that it is, whether it's in person or online, ever since. So
nice. Yeah, coming back, what surprised you most about the Demoscene return to compared to the one you had left?
I think it was, at least for me, it seemed like it had grown up a little bit. I mean, I'd never been to Mecha Symposium or Breakpoint, but some of the stories I hear about the stuff that went on at those parties doesn't sound particularly savoury. Sounds a bit of a mess. But yeah, just from a point of view of like going to Revision, it seemed like everyone was a bit more grown up, I guess. You know, people still have fun. Yeah. Right, and you know, people still have the odd disagreement, but on the whole, you know, you're not going to find odd things in your sleeping bag or anything like that. So, I think that was the thing. It didn't necessarily surprise me. It was just nice to see that, like, it kind of grown up a bit. But it was really nice to see that there was still a lot of activity on any number of platforms, right? And you know, I love old school platforms of any ilk, right? Spectrum, Atari, Commodore, MSX. The lot, you know, I like them all. So yeah, it's just nice to see, especially when you start knowing how these systems operate and what their kind of constraints are. It's just nice to see what people can do. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, you were mainly known for music. What made you start diving into coding as well?
So that was, again, that was after 2010. So after the demo party in the UK, I had a bit of a dig online and found that all of my Pro Tracker modules, I think it was 200 and something plus. Wow. I was very prolific in my teenage years. Yeah, very prolific. So I discovered that they were on AMP, Amiga Music Preservation, and it kind of I was like, oh my god, look, I like a lot of this stuff. I just sent to people. Like, hey, have a copy of this. Like, I don't know what to do with it yet. And I lost everything in a terrible VHS backup that I did back in the late 90s. I lost everything. So it was nice to see that all of this stuff had been preserved. So yeah, so I picked up and I discovered in that there was like a long play music disc, you know, like the old Flash Productions digital concerts. Actually, one that we did do back in the late 80s, early 90s was one called Project Techno under is it Quartz? I think it was. And I'd planned to do another one, but with like ambient 90s jungle music. And I'd even written like 4 of the tunes and put them and done them as modules that kind of sequence through, so that it was like a DJ mix. But then obviously couldn't find a coder and then left the scene. So as soon as I found those in 2010, I was like, well, I kind of want to finish this project now. Like, I've always wanted to do it. I can't find a coder to do it, so I guess I better teach myself how to do this stuff properly then. So,
cool.
And that was it. I just from there, I've just kept at it. Just done a ton of 68,000, and then learned almost every inch of the Amiga hardware since then. So so even to the point of writing my own track loaders now. So
yeah, you've certainly been through a lot. You've been active for a very long time now. Where does that drive still come from?
I guess I think the way I put it, it's curiosity that gets out of hand. And it always gets out of hand. So it's like it's an initial thought, like, oh well, can I do this music disc, right? What's involved with that? Okay, a level of persistence as well. Like once I start something, I really want to just see it through and finish it. So yeah, that's the drive kind of comes from that. It also, I mean, I suppose these days it comes from the fact that, you know, there are certain dates in the calendar where I will definitely be at a demo party. I will definitely be at Nova. And I'll definitely be at Revision. Those two, they're non-negotiable in my calendar. That I'm always going to be there. So when those kind of roll around, and when we get to December, I'm probably going to start thinking about, are we going to do anything for Revision? Have we got any, you know, what's my capacity looking like? If I've got any ideas, or someone else might pop up and say, hey, I'm working on this thing. Do you want to join in with me? I'll get on board with that. So, yeah, it's kind of the prolificness is just, I like doing stuff. I just like, you know, if I come up with an idea for something, then I like to see it through. But it's also now that I have like a bunch of friends that also do stuff and that I've worked with previously. They can pop out with projects at any point, any number of times. So, and I find it hard. I do find it quite hard to say no, especially if it's someone that I've worked with previously. If I've got some time for them, then, you know, I'm more than happy to kind of jump in creatively and get on board with something. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hope you still continue into 80s.
I hope so.
Do you still get that exciting feeling before a release or party deadline? Or does it feel different today?
I suppose it depends on what it is. There are, I mean, the nervousness will always be there. So I to give you a kind of contrast to that, I was at EMF camp last couple of weekends ago. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like a hacker nerd camp. It's like a 4-day festival, but there's lots of talks. There's lots of geeky stuff. There's people with robots knocking about. Cool. But I was doing a DJ set there, and I was with a friend of mine who's another really good DJ. And I just said to him, you know, it's like, it was the day before and I'm starting to feel a bit nervous. And he's like, well, you've done this for like 30 years. You still get nervous. I'm like, yes, I still get nervous. Like, I know it's going to be fine, but I still get nervous. But nothing compares to the absolute anxiety of watching your production on a big screen at any party. Even if you know it's pre-recorded, right? It makes no difference. You could run it live off hardware. That would probably make it worse because you don't want it to actually crash randomly for some inexplicable reason. But the anxiety of that that'll never. I think, and it'll never go away. And that's the reason why we do it, right? I don't generally like to release stuff remotely because I'm not there in the room. I don't feel as connected with it. So I try not to do that. But it is that. It's the excitement. Like your heart just said, like your slide comes up, you know you're on, and then your heart's up here. And then it's down there. But then you're just kind of doing this for the next 20 minutes. Okay.
Hoping for a chair.
Yeah.
So you have gone from participant and creator to also help organizing party. What has that experience been like? Have you learned something?
I've learned to have a new respect for anyone that decides to do that job, without a shadow of a doubt. It is so my involvement is at Nova. I'm the sound engineer, so I run the sound, control the sound desk, set up all the sound system, take it all down. But then I run a bunch of the competitions as well. So I'll do. We don't do pre-selection, but we'll order stuff. I do the capturing of old school demos, ordering of basically because I've got a lot of knowledge in terms of how certain old school formats should work and kind of what would be acceptable within a compo as well. Like if you've got an old school music compo and someone enters something in re-noise, that's like, well, that's not, we can't really let that fly. So, but that's a bunch of skills that I kind of learned over the years just being in the demo scene. But what I've learned is it's an incredibly stressful job, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So what I love about it is especially a party, people will come to the party, and they've been working on their things for however long, right? You know, it could be a couple of nights, could be 30 minutes before the compo deadline. It could be 3-4 months. It could be years even. And they've crafted these things. But you know, they've come to their party with something creative, and you want to make sure it's displayed in the best possible light that it can be. Sometimes you have to jump to an emulator because everything's failed. It's just the way it is. But you know, that's the job is just trying to make sure that we display it in the best way that we possibly can. So yeah, the thing I've learned most of all is if I go to another party and I've entered something and I'm just happily having a few drinks and a chat with some friends, if I pop up to speak to them and they're like, not right now, I was like, that's absolutely fine.
You know how stressed they are.
It's like there is a slight issue with my entry. It's like, but not right now. That's fine. You let me know when you're ready. You know? I understand how it feels, especially when stuff goes south. It's never great.
People often only see the finished event. Is there anything that goes on behind the scenes that most visitors never realize?
Nothing that I'd like to divulge. No. Behind the scenes, I guess. No. I mean, you will get, you know, certain visitors may need, you know, there may be some dialogue that needs to happen or something else, you know, and you know, I think every year there might be something, someone has upset someone, kind of, you have to mediate something, or, you know, it's very rare that I get involved with that, but I am part of that, in particular, you know, at Nova, I am part of the organisation team, so like, you know, we are a committee, everyone that's in the organisation group, you know, will have their say. So it's like we get a nice broad range of, you know, if someone's like, well, I don't really agree with that. Well, okay, that's, you know, I see your point. That's a good, you know, it's a good democratized way of doing it. But yeah, there's nothing, you know, we've had no thefts, we've had no murders, we've had some stickers be put in places they're not supposed to be, which is a little bit frustrating. And we've had slightly broken doors that we've had to fix, but you know, it's just these things kind of happen, you know. So there's no point stressing about them. We just try and get them fixed as best as possible. I suppose actually, one of the main things, particularly about Nova, is that we have a very, very hard noise curfew. So at midnight, no sound from inside or around the hall. So for 2 years in a row, we had a noise complaint because not because we ran our competitions into like, you know, 1-2 o'clock in the morning, but because everyone was just outside chatting away until 3 o'clock in the morning really loudly, right? Which, so what that has given us is that the one thing you can guarantee at Nova is that our competitions will finish at midnight. Without a shadow of a doubt, they have to. Right?
They have to,
Right? We can't afford a delay, right? So, I mean, that does apply the stress a little bit more, but we're a pretty well-oiled team now at this point. So we kind of like, when stuff comes up, it's a bit stressful. We'll get it all done, mate, and we get it done in time. So yeah, you can always guarantee that. You know, you'll be able to like come to the beach with us after midnight or go to bed. It'll be fine.
Cool.
But yeah, you won't be up until 4 o'clock in the morning to watch your demo or production, right? That's not going to happen at all.
Great. DJing, how did you get into that?
So yeah, I was really big into rave music because I went from obviously things like synth music, Jean-Michel Jarre, that kind of stuff. And as just a natural progression when rave music came along, where it was more like electro and hip hop before then, but then, you know, when kind of rave stuff came along, I used to get a lot of rave tapes, like mix tapes. And I used to be able to like listen to that and hear when a DJ was messing up. So, I mean, it'd probably be pretty obvious. Well, to me at least, anyway. So yeah, I was really into it. I just really wanted to learn how to do it. Yes, I my first set of turntables were two completely mismatched turntables. One was like this slimline Technics thing, and then the other was this gigantic Sony Direct Drive. But it was enough to get me up and running and having a go. But yes, it was mostly because we didn't really get videos of DJs back then. It's not like you can watch them on Twitch these days. So it was just through mixtapes. So yeah, I just got into it through that kind of through that way, and I just ever since I started doing it, I've never stopped. I love doing it. So yeah.
Cool. Do you approach creating music differently when people will experience it on a dance floor rather than inside a demo?
Totally. Well, totally, and no. Yes and no, I suppose. That's the thing. I think that was the thing about coming back to the demo scene in 2010 that I really enjoyed most of all. So when I was trying to be like a breakbeat artist within the scene, you're really only doing one style of music. I mean, you will veer off and do different stuff within that, but you're trying to be part of that scene and that genre and that sound. Yeah. And then when you start in 2011, I think it was 2012, when I started doing soundtracks for demos. Obviously, I was lucky. The first couple of demos I did was like, well, did you want a banging breaks track? I can do that. There you go. That's it's kind of designed for the dance floor, but edited in a way that it would fit for a demo. But then when I started working with other people, you soon quickly realize that you can't just put a banging tune on every demo. Like there's, there'll be an artistic vision that's there, right? There might be an aesthetic, an atmosphere, and you have to then soak that up and then see what, basically produce something that would match with that. That's what I really loved about that, because it just kind of, rather than just like focusing on one kind of genre or one style, you never could quite know what you might be working on next. It could be something really relaxing, really chill. It could be something that was kind of somewhere in the middle, something that was really, to the floor, whatever, So yeah, that's what I really loved about it, just the variety. And you never know, you could be doing a silly chip tune for something, it could be anything.
Do your scene and DJ background feed into each other creatively, or do they feel like separate worlds?
Sorry, what?
Do your demo scene background and DJ background feed into each other creatively, or do they feel like separate worlds?
No, it's all part of the same thing. As far as I'm concerned, I've done DJ sets on SceneSat playing just demo scene music and kind of mixing all that stuff together. So there's a lot of crossover. And there are times where I'd really like to just drop one of the more chiller tunes into a DJ set, like on a dance floor, but it's probably going to bring the vibe down a bit too much. But I guess the way I approach things is that I'm always thinking about that kind of, how does it make you feel kind of thing. So for a dance floor, it's like, how does it make you feel? It makes you feel good. Makes you want to throw some shapes, right? Or makes you want to go grr because the bass is horrible and nasty, right? But I would say that the line is so blurry between those two for me. I could do a DJ set of like super chilled stuff, and I could still play it like that. And so it kind of all feeds into each other, really. So
Games. You have worked on both game pods and original games in the recent years. What pulled you toward game development and on classic computers and consoles?
That was a pandemic thing, actually. 2020, sorry. I found myself at home, not going to any demo parties. And I kind of found myself a bit bereft of things to do, really, because by that point, I think the last demo we made was Way Too Rude. And that was when we were all going to revision. Then we suddenly weren't going to revision. So we finished that anyway and released it. I was really proud that we did. But it's just a bit sad that we never got to see it on the big screen at Revision, really, because that's kind of what we were aiming for. But anyway, so yeah, I just kind of found myself with not really a lot to do. And just, again, it's one of those things, it's like a curiosity that gets out of hand. Yeah. So I discovered online someone had done a full disassembly of Metal Gear from the MSX2, completely commented. Like that, it's just that every single inch of that code is commented in terms of how it works, what it means. So it's all structured and it's all labeled really nicely. Yeah. So I just curiously went, well, the MSX2 is kind of fairly similar in terms of the number of colors it can put out, kind of, as the Amiga. So why don't I just, let's have a look at, see if I can get a graphics converter up and running. So read the technical documentation for the MSX2, went, okay, that's how the format is. Okay, and then made converted all the tile sets. Went, oh, okay, that's the tile sets. Where's the map data then? Oh, there's the map data. Oh, I've got all the rooms now. I was cycling through the rooms. I was like, well, why don't I just port the game now?
Sounds easy.
I know. I just kind of like, I got to a point where I was like, well, I've got the tile maps now. I've got all of the rooms. Like I can see every single room in the game. Why don't we? And I converted the sprites across. I was like, well, I've got the player sprite now, so I ported the code over for the player to move around, and then ported the code so that he could walk through different rooms. And I was just walking about it, and it just kind of a light bulb went off when. This is really exciting. Like every step of the way, I've gone from like stationary screen to a character moving around to him moving around into different rooms to then like enemies being on the screen and then those enemies reacting and then, putting bullets in and, just kind of porting all of this code across and just seeing this game gradually kind of like if each of the layers adding in, like it just gradually coming more and more to life. Yeah. And then, just obviously getting really, really out of hand. By completely reworking the entire soundtrack in Pro Tracker, making a crack intro for it because why not? Porting the original sound driver from Z8E to a kind of sound chip emulator as well. It's just I was kind of layering on more and more stuff, but still really keeping it as authentic to the original as possible. Because it's Metal Gear, right? You can't be toying around too much with it because you're going to upset people. But at the same time, it has to kind of look the part on the Amiga as well, right? Yeah. So and that's how it started. And then the next project was a kind of follow on from that because I wondered, well, how did Manuel Pazos was the guy that did the disassembly of the ROM to Z8E source code. And I was like, well, how did he do that? So I tapped him up and asked him, and he said, well, this is the disassembler I use. Here's some pointers. And I went off and picked another MSX1 game called Nightmare, and then spent 3 months and disassembled the whole thing, labeled everything up, knew where all the enemies were, knew where all the graphics was, and went, well, we could port this to the Amiga as well, right? Right? Yeah. So kind of did that. That looked like an MSX1 game, so needed a massive facelift. So I got Tony Galvez offered his services to basically read all the sprites, read all the backgrounds, and give it a real lovely lick of paint. So it made it look the part. After that, I was a bit bored of well, not bored, but I'd already done 2 games that I didn't own the IP to. And then I'd done the music for, I think you can see it just there, Seekanoid. So that's the Amiga boxed version. So that was by a friend of mine called Gareth Noyce. And I did the music for the PC version. So I asked him, do you mind if I port it to the Amiga? He's like, not at all. Here's all the stuff. Here's the Unity code. Go off and have at it and do it. And that was a lot harder because you're going from like several gigahertz Unity to several megahertz Amiga. So and now I'm in this strange situation where I was again another curious project that kind of got out of hand. I was waiting for my Mr. FPGA to turn up, so I disassembled Shinobi from the arcade because it was a 68,000 CPU. I'd never disassembled a 68,000 game, so I thought, all right, I'll have a go at that. And I disassembled the whole game and went, well, what can I put this to? It's going to be a lot of work to try and make this work on an Amiga. And I'd never done anything with the Neo Geo, so I thought, well, I'll port it to that because I looked at the specs and went, oh well, yeah, this should work. It shouldn't be, everything should look exactly the same. It should be fine. Mm-hmm. And now I'm at the point where, thanks to me playing about with IP that I don't own, I'm now working on projects for Play On for the AES Plus when it's coming out this year, which I can't talk to you about. So because I'm under NDA.
Yeah, but that sounds cool. I'm actually going to buy one of those. So
good. Yeah.
But when porting a game, where do you usually start?
So it's at the disassembly, always at the disassembly. So I know other people might port a game by looking at it frame by frame. I would never do that. I'd want to know exactly underneath how the code does it. So if it's going from one CPU to another, then I will disassemble the thing really, really deeply. I'll need to know where all the enemies are. How all where all the coordinates are for those enemies, how they're spawned, everything, because that code would need to be rewritten in a different CPU's assembly. If the CPU is the same, I tend to just leave all of that as stuff that I don't understand, because I don't need to understand it. As long as it's disassembled correctly and reassembles correctly, then it's going to function exactly the same. There's no reason to need to understand that. So yeah, it always starts with disassembling it and then just getting a top level view of how, like, how does it cycle through the title screen, where's all the graphics kept, where's the map data kept, where are the enemies, we might need to know that, and then just labeling everything up, and then when it comes to sending it to another system, and then just deciding how does the graphics work on that, will that work. Are we going to need to do any downgrades, or are we just going to leave it as is? Does it need any upgrades? So yeah, it all starts with the disassembly for me.
Okay. Is there a particular platform you enjoy developing for, and why?
Well, I got to say, at the moment, it's the Neo Geo. Because I did that project, I did that, and I did Shinobi and then Golden Axe. Just because I thought, Golden Axe, it's a game from my childhood. I loved it. I kind of like to know how that kind of fits together. So I ported that to Neo Geo. And then we did our demo, Vaporous, in 2024, I think it was, where I convinced, because I'd already got a really good understanding of the Neo Geo hardware. I convinced a few of my demo friends to get on board, because I was like, it's really simple. It's just sprites. That's all it is. And that's what I love about that hardware. Like, it is really simple. There's hardly anything to it, but there's so many sprites that it's unbelievable. So I love developing for that, because the 68,000 is kind of, it's not super fast, but it's not hindered by like DMA contention or bus contention or anything like that. So it literally just flies. So yeah, I think the Neo Geo thing. And then after that, I mean, obviously, I love producing stuff for the Amiga. It is the Swiss Army knife of systems. Its flexibility, it does sometimes become it's slight hindrance to it, right? It's like, I can be as flexible as you want, but don't ask me to chuck around lots of sprites. So yeah, I think the Neo Geo is probably my favorite at the moment. I did start looking at the Sharp X68000.
That's a nice one.
That is a nice one. Yeah. So I was doing a disassembly of one of the Nemesis games on that, just to get an understanding of how the system works. And yeah, I found it incredibly fascinating. The problem is that the main emulator driver is not great. And that's where I use my debugger at the moment. So yeah, a few experiments, but yeah, we'll see. I might fire that one back up again at some point. Cool. I found it really interesting anyway. So yeah, definitely going to get back to that one.
Good. Are there any dream projects still sitting in the back of your mind that you hope to someday get to?
I think I've done most of them.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, like my bucket list is quite ticked off. So I've done a couple of albums. I've done a few music discs. I've done my own demos all by myself as well. I mean, and I've been lucky enough to work with people like TBL and Desire on their latest demo and stuff. So I'm incredibly blessed and lucky to have been working on some of these great things. Dream project. I mean, I'd really love to port Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake from the MSX to the Amiga. But the disassembly of that would be such a huge task because the game is massive. I mean, when I say it's a 512K ROM, that is a lot to disassemble, right? It is a lot to disassemble. Yeah. So I'd love to do that one though, because it's it is a really great game. And I think the Amiga deserves a port of it. With a few enhancements along the way. Nothing too drastic, but a few bits and pieces. So yeah.
Let's see here. Back in the day, you worked on the Amiga game Speris Legacy. How did that opportunity come about?
Oh yeah. So as you remember, I was telling you about Ian, Clive, and Andy, who I first met, and we were doing demos together back in the early 90s. Well, that's them. So, it was kind of a bit of an impasse at the joint point in my life. So we all, as a group, decided to make a game. Obviously, my input wasn't needed for ages because they didn't even have a game yet. So they were building up this game and working on it and I did some of the music for it, but there's quite a lot of music in there. So there's it's not all by me. But by the time that had come out, I didn't necessarily leave the scene at that point, but I'd got into DJing by that point and nightclubbing. So sitting in front of a computer on a Friday or a Saturday night was unlikely. I was probably down at the nightclub watching some DJs. But yeah, so I kind of watched them build that from like the ground up all the way. Clive was doing all the coding, he was doing all the graphics. They were kind of working on that and that. And then I saw they were working on some other stuff, but by that point I'd wandered off into the wilderness. So.
Let's see here. PT1210. Where did the original idea come from? And can you explain to the viewers what it is?
So PT1210. So if you consider a CD DJ player like a Pioneer CDJ, it basically turns your Amiga into one of those without a jog wheel. But basically you have the same features, right? You can load a Pro Tracker module. You can change the pitch of it. So you can change the speed, faster and slower. And then you can nudge it, and then you can loop stuff, and you can mute channels and stuff. It basically just turns your Amiga into a fully fledged DJ player. So if you have two of them and then a mixing desk in the middle, you've basically got the same DJ setup that I've been using for the past however many, like 30 years, right? It's the same. So that started off as a question on EAB that was asked by Kira. It was just like a concept thing, like, can you change the speed of a Pro Tracker module, but also increase or decrease the pitch of the samples so that it plays at the same speed? So if you imagine, if you've got a drum loop, if you play the tune faster, but don't increase the pitch of the samples being played, the drum loop would then go out of sync when it goes faster or slower. So that was the key point. It was like, okay, if we're going this % faster, we have to pitch up all of the samples by that %. And it went from that, just I did a very quick prototype. I was like, okay, well, let's just hook it all in, get a BPM control in for up and down. There we go. And then I put that in, and it just worked. But it was just, I was amazed that it was literally just one calculation. If I increase the BPM, I need to pitch these samples up by this %. And I put it in and went, oh my God, this works. And the first version of it was just like a screen of text with some numbers on it and some information of, what are the, what's your BPM, what's your, and all this kind of stuff. And I put all the controls in, and instantly from that point, even just as a text interface, it was usable as DJ software. After that, Akira did all the UI stuff, and then we finished that and then released that what still baffles me about that, because it's been out for 10 years now, 11 years, sorry, it's 11 years old now, is that I didn't really kind of spot it happening, but an entire kind of little culture of DJs and musicians has grown off of the back of that software alone, which is it absolutely it boggles my mind. I mean, I kind of leave them into their little corner. I did pop in there and participate in like the PT Weekenders. So if you've not seen those, they're really good fun. It's a bunch of Amiga DJs over the weekend. We do them once a year. We do a smaller one as well somewhere else during the year. I can't remember when it is. But yeah, so you'll see like a bunch of different DJs play different styles of music, all with Amigas, real Amigas and stuff, like all throughout the weekend. But yeah, just to see that whole community pop up out of a piece of software that I made was, it's really bonkers.
I bet. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Favorite Amiga game of all time and why?
Oh God, this always I always keep changing my mind on this. I always say Flashback, don't I? Do I say Flashback? I think I tell you why I say Flashback. Because obviously, you know, we were all pirates back in the day.
Yeah.
Right? Let's not shy away from it, right? Yeah, exactly. I received a preview copy of Flashback that was in French, and I couldn't read French, and I still played the crap out of it until the demo finished. Yeah. That's how good that game was.
That's great. And it looked really great also back then.
Looked really great, sounded really great. Exactly. When I got the English version, I just played it from end to end. That game was it was fantastic. I loved every bit of it because I liked Another World, but I just found it a bit too punishing. But Flashback seemed to be just kind of, it was exciting enough to keep you just wanting to try, and it was just tough enough to keep going and keep you hooked in. But yeah, I'd say that was like, that's the one I think. Yeah.
Favorite demos? Any platform goes.
Any platform goes.
Yeah.
It
could be more than one.
Good. One's impossible. Yeah. One of my favorite Amiga demos is it's by Altair. It's coded by KK. And it's called Xena Drive.
I know it.
You know it, yeah. I absolutely love that demo because it was different enough to like, and the sync on it and everything was really tight. Like all the glitches and stuff. Yeah, I love that. That's probably one of my all-time favorite Amiga demos. I mean, I think we'll just stick with that. I think that's probably best. I think there's plenty more, but I think that was, in terms of when I first saw that, I was just really blown away by like the idea of it. I understood how it worked because I'd seen like the Unlimited Bob's thing done back in the early 90s, and my Clive, who was the coder in our little group. I know how it works. It's just like it's a massive cyclical buffer of frames. Right, okay. So when I saw someone had done that, but like with 3D vectors and like morphing animations and glitch and effects and sync on top, was just it's brilliant, really good.
Yeah. So any project you're working on now that you can tell us a little bit about? What is everything secret?
Unfortunately, I can't tell you anything I'm doing on the Neo Geo.
Oh, that's fine.
Which is a shame. I am working on, so we do this. Another thing that I do is this thing called textual healing. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a little lesser known. So I'm a big fan of ASCII, ANSI, just text art in general. I think it's a massive cornerstone of the demo scene as far as I'm concerned, I just think it's for me it's just a really important part of it, right? It's just there's something really punk about it, right? That's what I love about it. So I decided to make a kind of display engine, kind of not like a disc mag as such, right? Because there's no articles in there and stuff. But it was just the idea was just let's just compile the ASCII and ANSI entries from like a couple of parties into a pack. I was like, okay, so I did the first one, and then the second volume that I did, I managed to like get the compression and stuff a lot better. So we started adding more and more parties, and each party I added there was a text entry thing for. I then go, all right, what format have we got? So it then started supporting PETSCII, and then +4 ASCII art. Was that those two? Oh, there was something called PlaySCII, which is another random. It's basically PETSCII anyway. Yeah. So that was volume 2. Volume 3 that I've started now supports ATASCII, which is Atari ASCII. It's about to support maybe Pico 8 ASCII as well. But it's basically just like a really nice way of, and this is all on Amiga, so it's all like Amiga 500. But we're able to basically, because of the flexibility of the display on the Amiga, means that you can get away with displaying pretty much all of the formats, right? Because you can change the screen width, you can do whatever, you can kind of do all this stuff. It turned into just an exercise in how polished can we make this menu system, this delivery, right? So I think in volume 2, we started to get a artist like name scrolling in from the side. So when you click on a piece of art, it had like an autoplay function. So just like it would show a piece of art and then go to the next one. As it would switch, it would scroll in like the artist's name and the piece and the name of the art as well. And then the music player would also like run on autoplay, so when it played the next tune, like the tune name would pop in on the other side and stuff. So we just kind of went, really, there's like these things like we need kind of polishing stuff as much as you can, like how nice can we make this, So kind of that kind of got, it's one of those things that got slightly out of hand, right? But the end result is there's even in volume 2, it gives you a score at the end of it when you exit, depending on how much art and music you've listened to and watched. so, which I thought was a fun thing to do. So I started working on volume 3 of that. So we've got Atari ASCII, and I think we need to, there's like one entry for MSX, which means I now need to support that. And it's just turning into this mission of like, and I don't think there will be a text art format this thing will not support by the time we finish volume 3. So that's the plan anyway. So.
I hear you have your hands full, so yeah. Is there anything I have forgot to ask you about that I should have asked you about?
No, I think you've got most of the bases covered there. That's a good cross section of what I've been up to for a while. Yeah.
Okay, then we're nearing the last few questions. First of all, who should I interview next?
Have you done Virgil yet?
He's on the list.
He's on the list. Good. Okay. NE7. Yeah, you should definitely get NE7 on. Definitely. Okay. I think he's such a stalwart of the demo scene. A solid, reliable chap, and honestly, you'll have a laugh because every time I hang up with NE7, it's a laugh. So
I did talk to him back in the 90s on IRC, so I kind of know about him. But thanks.
He's had a very interesting audio career as well. Cool. He's done like a lot of stuff he's done a lot of game audio and stuff. So he'd be I think digging into what he's been up to over the last 30 years would be really interesting.
Cool. I'll try. Not everyone says yes, so but I'll try. Okay, let's see. Next one. Do you think the internet has changed creativity for the better or worse?
Both, unfortunately. I mean, Discord. I mean, IRC ultimately was helpful, but Discord, in terms of when you're making a demo now, it's so essential. And it's just so much more connected. So whenever like I work on a demo project or someone else is working on a demo project, I'll either create a little channel or something, or create or do something. We'll have a little hub.
Exactly.
and what I love about that is that everyone can just like, I mean, you don't always have to be connected to it, but when you're in like that production kind of phase, it's just a nice little place. Like you can hang out, you can talk about stuff. People throw in ideas, and it becomes this little melting pot. And you throw previews in. So like the Neo Geo demo we did. What I loved about that most of all is that I don't think there's a single scene where at least 2, maybe 3 people haven't had input on that scene. So someone will code something up and go, I've done this. And they'll go, well, have you tried like doing that with it? So, oh, that's a good idea. Or have you tried this? Have you tried syncing it this way? Have you tried this? Have you, that's maybe how you can solve that. And yeah, just having that kind of, that little melting pot of working with like-minded people was just, it's super, it's in terms of the creative process, it's brilliant. In terms of idiots on the internet, I mean, you have to have a thick skin to do anything in retro these days, I'd say, because people are idiots. They're just not the people I hang out with and chat with. No, they're lovely people. But yeah, the kind of anonymous people. I mean, I don't have a problem with them. I find them quite funny, in the respect that why are you getting so upset about something which really shouldn't affect your life?
I don't care at all about those people. So,
exactly. I find them hilarious, which is why when I snip their comments, keep them.
And now for the good one that a lot of people are talking about, AI. What are your thoughts?
So, full disclosure, I use it fairly regularly for tooling. Right? I think I've spoken to a bunch of people about this. Like, generative AI is a terrible idea. Like, it's a terrible idea, right? In terms of, you can't use it for art, you can't use it for music. I would never use it. I mean, I wouldn't even use an AI-assisted plugin in Ableton to help with music. I wouldn't see the point in that. But to help me do some of the more boring jobs, to cut maybe 2, maybe 3 days out of development, right? Just snip that out. Like, I need a tool. Can you, scaffold me something up to do this? And so, oh, great. Now I've got something that's I didn't have to spend 2 days building that. Now I can just get on with the creative stuff of making this demo. Like the human element, like you cannot replace the human element. I mean, it's you can't. But like, and also I wouldn't get it to do 68,000, right? Because that's the stuff I enjoy doing, right? Right? Why would I? Like, I wouldn't get it to do that. But yeah, to knock up a tool, I use Claude quite regularly to say, I need like a graphics converter, a sprite converter, something like that. And on the tooling side, but I would always get it. I would always like scaffold something up myself first. So this is okay. You can't just don't just tell it to go and do a graphics converter from one format to another. Go and read the documents first so you understand what may or may not be entailed. Maybe even pull apart your own first version of it so that the AI's got something to look at, right? But just like for tooling and stuff, I don't see that there's a problem with that. But fully generative, like using it for artwork and music is, I mean, it's not my bag, and you can usually tell because it looks like crap and sounds like crap. So,
fair. Yeah. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Keep going. It'll be fine, mate. That's it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Life turned out all right. You'll be fine. Or what I might tell him is that one day in the future, you will beat Spaceballs in a demo competition.
Oh, yeah.
And he won't believe me.
Cool. Really cool, yeah. Okay, we're near the end. Are there any shout-outs or greetings you'd like to send?
Just shout-outs to everyone from TTE, the TBL lot, Terrible Fires crew as well. Everyone that watches the stream, and every scener and game dev and all of you, everyone. Yeah.
Great. Okay, that's it. Thanks for taking the time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.